What's going on, my fellow A-plusers? It is I, your more phenomenal host as always, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new episode for you guys today, as we're set to go ahead and get into episode number 2 of DonBrothers. That's right, the brand new Super Sentai season that just began a couple of weeks ago, and we are thoroughly enjoying it so far. Really nice sort of change of pace for me when it comes to Zenkaiger, honestly. The fact that we definitely have a brand new writer, for me, really just showcases the idea that they're really approaching these characters and these storyline beats very differently than what this series certainly did itself. So while there certainly are influences and things that have definitely carried over, I'm really enjoying the storytelling sort of differential so far. I really come into this just energized, hyped. The opening theme song and the dance just really gets me into a fantastic mood as I go into this particular episodes. And honestly, I think the pacing for each episode just truly sort of works for me. I love the idea that we have somebody like an Oni sister as the main character of this particular season, and then giving us dabbles of other characters, the other main characters in here, since we officially haven't really not only seen everybody, but the full team hasn't really even come all together yet fully. So I really have enjoyed the pacing in which they're putting this particular team together. And while they are really mainly, for me, it feels like focusing on Oni's sister, they are filling in these little gaps, explaining to us who these characters are, or at least giving us just a little bit of a taste of them. And then as clearly as we go through the remainder of the season, we'll continue to learn more about them. But I really love the pacing that we wind up getting in here, honestly. Storytelling definitely on point, very interesting, and I really kind of appreciate just the touches of humor that we certainly have, right? And for me, at least, it's humor that truly makes me laugh, like just really chuckle out loud, because they really just kind of get me by surprise with some of the lines, or some of the, I don't know if it's even like the way the direct or they edit some of the episodes that really kind of surprised me. Like, for instance, right, like when we get the opportunity to see Saru brother entering the cafe, ordering the tea, I believe, from Haruka, I love the fact that we don't see her face at all at the beginning of that scene until Saru brother, or that gentleman, asks for the tea, and when she stops, we still don't see her face until she turns around and reveals that she's actually wearing the mask, the glasses, and the big nose sort of mask that she wants to kind of hide her identity. Like, that really got a great chuckle out of me, and I think that was really all in a case of just like camera work and when do you reveal the mask, right? Having your actor have her back towards the camera and then slow, the quick turn reveal. It was perfect for me. So I really enjoy not only the interesting storytelling, because there is a plenty of mystery to certainly unravel when it comes to this season so far. It does feel very like the scope can be pretty big in regards to what's truly going on in this season, and just all the characters that we certainly still have to learn, especially on the villain side of things. There's just a great mystery and an interesting storyline, and the humor, for me at least, just really goes a very long way. So I'm really excited to kind of see what the bigger picture is certainly going to turn out to be, and it's interesting enough that I'll come back really looking forward to seeing how the story is going to unfold for the next week. So 2 episodes in, look, plenty of season to certainly still go, right? But really leaving a fresh and unique and just a fun impression on me so far, honestly. Don't get me wrong, I certainly still have my issues with the CGI, for sure. I will give them credit for the CGI attempt, but I feel like maybe it's a little too soon in certain regards, right? Like maybe a season or two too soon, and that's really just in regards to the character's CGI, because again, I continue to be blown away by the Zord action, which we'll certainly go ahead and talk about. After last week's episode, I was debating if maybe I was a little bit too harsh on the CGI characters last week, but honestly, like, even watching this episode here this week, some of the stuff is just laughably bad. Like, some of the stuff is great, right? Like, there's a great shot in here of Kiji brother swooping in and stuff, right? Like, that swooping in shot looked great. You could probably cheat and get away with some really far back shots of the CGI characters in the middle of fighting and stuff. So it's going to be interesting for me to kind of see how, like, the edited shots, you know, what shot selection they are going to decide to use and why, sort of thing, because it looks like these shots are probably going to be coming really quick. You probably don't want to stand on these shots way too long, so it's obvious, if you will, because it is already obvious as it is, but some of the stuff is kind of laughable. Like, for instance, right in this episode, when we finally get the opportunity to see Inu brother for the very first time in his transformation form, the fact that Oni's sister in that scene reacts like Inu brother ran through her legs, and even the camera angle leading up to where Inu brother was running made you think, oh, he's gonna run right through her legs. But when we get cut to the next shot, yeah, he's far from between her legs, my guy. Like, he's literally running from the side of her, sort of thing, right? Like, it just doesn't match the shot. Sorry, I think I had like dog hair on my mouth somehow. It just doesn't match the shot for me, you know what I mean? So it feels just really off and just laughable at times. But then there are really fun shots that I don't mind because it makes me laugh, and that is when Inu brother is like literally stomping on the back of one of these henchmen, sort of thing. I did get a little bit of laugh out of that, but outside of that, man, you know, this is gonna be a tricky season. I was surprised to see the physical Inu brother suit in here. Looks like they might have used the stage show one. They literally cut half his helmet off. I'm assuming because of how big the head is, certainly on the character, had the physical hands and everything. So you really gotta take advantage of the close-up shots, you know what I mean? And I thought they really tried to do their best in here, but you know, we'll see, man. We'll see. The verdict is still out, but I'm just not impressed with the CGI animals for the most part. But everything else looks fantastic. You know, I definitely still have some questions though in regards to, like, I'm curious about the avatar changers, who created them, how is it picking and choosing these people? I'm starting to kind of get this vibe here that, and this is just me theorizing and speculating here, just seeing the events and how things are unfolding when people are acquiring these sunglasses. I do wonder if these sunglasses are actually giving people sort of like bad luck, if you will, because Kiji brother mentions in here when he gets explained a little bit, the fact that ever since he got the sunglasses, even though he's just literally your average Joe Schmo, right? Ever since he got the sunglasses, things haven't been going his way. He dislocated his arm. He's been late for meetings. What else? There was something else that he wind up being, oh, he had his bike stolen, I think is what it was, right? And then of course, same thing with Oni's sister when she acquires the sunglasses. The fact that she then gets accused for plagiarism, right? So her life starts falling apart completely when her life was fantastic until she saw the sunglasses. And then when it comes to Inu brother, he's claiming he's not the one that did anything, and he's now on a wanted poster, right? And he already has his pair of sunglasses, so did his life go to trash once the sunglasses came on, right? So I am wondering if these sunglasses are bad luck, or they're accessing some sort of like negative energy or negative realm or something like that. And anytime that we see Jin, he's always mentioning the idea of, when you meet Momotaro, find him. You've got to find him because it'll go ahead and sort of reverse things, or reverse your fortunes, or something like that. So, or at least take things back to the way that they were. And considering what we've seen so far of Momotaro and him being able to give off this good fortune wherever he certainly goes, if you're around him, clearly good things happen, right? Kiji brother got his arm put back into its place. So it is one of those things where I can see why Oni's sister needs to find Momotaro so badly. The idea of really hoping that things do go back to normal, but it's like, are they only going to go back to normal momentarily as you're around him, right? Like when you leave a particular vicinity, does everything else turn to crap? Is he your balancing force kind of going forward, so your life isn't so miserable? I am kind of curious to see if that's the type of good fortune that Momotaro is really putting off. So those are just some of the questions that I have in regards to what's kind of going on, and maybe just theorizing a little bit. But I did appreciate the idea that we did get to see a little bit of everybody in here again, especially when it comes to Kiji brother, finally discovering the fact that, yeah, while he is just an average Joe, we get to introduce to his wife in here, extremely beautiful wife sort of thing, very lucky man. I think he mentions that they only have been together about like 3 months or so. So I can see why he is really going above and beyond to certainly make his wife happy, to certainly say the least. I was not expecting that sort of catch for Kiji brother, but man, he definitely is very happy man, to certainly say the least. But he even transforms in this episode into Real Soul Pink, even with a skirt also. So I thought that was pretty interesting when they wind up doing that. You know, sidebar real quick, honorable mention, I don't necessarily know how I feel about the idea of our characters being able to transform into the other past Super Sentai. It feels like that's just a gimmick that's usually supposed to be left for like an anniversary season. And I cannot get the idea of wanting to go ahead and do something different, you know, wanting to kind of keep that theme a little bit over from Zenkaiger, but switching it up. It is one of those things where, on the other hand, though, I do wonder if this is just an easy money grab for Toei, in the sense that, you know, I don't know how the toy sales did for Bandai or whoever selling the toys out in Japan for them in their Sentai gears that they wind up having for last season. But it is one of those things where it's like, do they just think they could just recycle them? You know what I'm saying? Paint them a different color, make some new artwork plastered on there for cheap, and just include that somehow into the season. Like, that's one of the reasons why I would like to see why they decided to do that, because it does feel very gimmicky. One that I really rather just see them, you know what I'm saying, the DonBrothers themselves in their suits do all the fighting all season long. If they want to do another gimmick, that's fine, but this gimmick just feels a little bit off for me. But we'll see. We'll see how it continues to be utilized, certainly going forward also. Let me see here. A quick shout out to Saru brother, who we saw briefly in here when I was talking about the humor also, right? Another great moment in here where Saru brother, where he decides, because of the fact that he can't pay for his tea, he decides he's gonna pay in a haiku. And so the fact that he literally turns his head, finds the first thing that he sees, and when we cut back to him, I mean, we're talking full-blown tear. Like, we're not talking like just the dripping, just barely coming down. No, I mean, he started sobbing the moment his head turned, and it was just straight down his cheek. And I absolutely just appreciate just great humor like that, honestly. So and even the idea of like when Kiji brother tries to gets the changer for the first time, the sunglasses I should say, for the first time, and they're just literally punching him in the face until they knock his glasses off and then put themselves on there. Just the little things honestly really do go a long way for me when it comes to this season so far. I will also say this, man, I continue to really appreciate and love the villains in here. The monster this week actually comes from a character who's actually Momotaro's co-worker. So shout out to the delivery drivers and all the people that work at the postal office, that we get the opportunity to meet some of Momotaro's friends here and learn a little bit more about Momotaro. The idea of him maybe being a little bit too honest to literally drive this woman to turn into a demon. It was pretty impressive stuff. Very cold-blooded stuff there, Momotaro, for just like, how old do I look? Everybody around her flattering her, and he's like, you're 68, lady, you're old as hell, get out of here. Just the heart sinking for this poor lady, right? Doesn't even want to flatter her, sort of thing. But listen, to the credit of Momotaro, that's his honesty, right? And the fact that homeboy literally continues to be that honest through the entirety of the episode, not even faltering whatsoever, shows to me his value of what honesty means. And even to the point to where at the end of the episode, right, he still hits her with the, how old do I look? 68. But I love the fact that it feels very much like he's either learned something throughout the entirety of the episode, like maybe I should have approached that or said something a little bit differently. So the fact that he says the same thing, still not lying, but also reinforcing and complimenting the ideas, like, but you look full of energy, right? Like, you look a happy 68. You got to appreciate that, right? The idea that, yeah, maybe the truth hurts, but it's better to be honest and then build on top of that with like a reassurance, reinforcement sort of thing. And so I think that's a really great lesson, and one that clearly Momotaro learned in this episode. But the fact that the honesty literally drove this woman. And listen, I don't necessarily think that she had evil intentions, right? It's the idea, look, I'm getting old, man, you know, I wish I looked a little bit younger. But the fact that we've got these digital yukai, like these digital demons, like it feels very creepy in the sense of like they're just waiting for you to falter and just like latch onto any desire that you certainly might have and just sort of exploded out of proportions, right? The fact that this lady, then that was just the one thing that she certainly wanted. And I really appreciate the way that it's kind of represented. There is something really creepy in the sense that it kind of reminds me of like the scary or horror movies that you've ever seen, or like just tales and things like that of like demons latching themselves onto your back and just like following you everywhere that you go. That's the type of vibe that I certainly get, and there's something really creepy to kind of see it manifesting behind you and just drawing on your power and your energy. It's just truly creepy to the point to where it really comes into kind of physical form. So I really appreciate the way that it's recreated in here, and used in here. But when it comes to the villains, though, we got to talk about these brain people or brain persons or your brain cousins. I have no idea. This team here that we have slowly building as we wind up seeing Sonoi from last week actually pop up in here. But we've got somebody new in regards to what is it? Sonoza, I believe his name is. As he winds up confronting Oni's sister in here also. Now we do get the idea that Oni's sister once again mistaken somebody else for Don Momotaro when it's actually supposed to be Sonoza, but she clearly doesn't know that whatsoever, and the tide quickly is turned on her. So I am fascinated by these two, Sonoza and Sonoi. They definitely have an interesting approach. They are clearly there to go ahead and destroy these digital yukai, if you will. That's just how I'm kind of referring to them as. I don't know how you guys would prefer that I kind of refer to them as, but I do find it interesting that they're there the moment that they pop up and manifest themselves into like physical yukai form. So the fact that they pop up to destroy them, I do like the polar opposites here that we have of Oni's sister, knowing that you have to destroy the monster, but these guys come in just chopping you down right in your physical form, and I'm assuming that in return kills the human host. Anytime we get the opportunity to kind of see them in the Zord battle, I love the fact that it separates itself from our realm into the digital realm, and they have to destroy it in the digital realm in order to save the human host. I actually think that's a really cool concept in how they utilize it. So seeing that and knowing how the Don brothers handle it, opposed to this group that literally is just trying to chop these people down sort of thing without really considering who's still inside, I really find that as an interesting dilemma, and just the way that they carry themselves as people. Like the fact that they have no clue as to who the Don brothers are whatsoever, or what this entity certainly is. I am fascinated to kind of see how the mystery unravels, because it definitely feels like a much bigger picture when it comes to things. But overall, man, super impressed. Again, the action blows me away. The villain actually was inspired with the Tokuger, straight from the Shadow Line himself, it felt very much like, so I really appreciated that. The battle for the Zords continues to impress me, guys. Again, I think I'm in love with this digital world. My biggest worry was this CGI Zord taking place like on land, on our Earth, if you will, or in the city. But the idea that they're really throwing it into another digital realm, it works incredibly well. They can get so much out of this CGI fight, and it really does certainly go a long way. And honestly, shout out to Momotaro one more time for the great entrance whenever he henshins and morphs. I absolutely love it. The fact that it's just big and grandiose, and it's just a festival sort of thing. I love the energy that he winds up bringing, along with just really good fortune and a really great message to everybody. I mean, it's as epic of an entrance as you could possibly get, and I hope it's something that happens each and every week. Like, I just love seeing the fans, the flowers, the music, the dudes just carrying them in. It's pretty bombastic, and I'm definitely here for it, man. But even getting the opportunity to see Don Momotaro fight in here, The fight sequence was incredible. I love whoever's doing the fight choreography, really works for me. Getting the opportunity during the Zord battle to see him like chop the portal, or whatever he was warping through. I love the fact that he cuts it open into a circle so that one end can fall off and Jurin can jump into the battle. I thought that was a really sweet move. And even seeing the final attack from Don Momotaro with the rest of the team, the impeccable peach, I think he calls it, while they like wind up lifting him up on the tower. It's just the color scheme, the going all straight into black sort of thing. The idea of being able to see, like, I love just the design and the effects on it, of it just being pitch black, and you see the muzzle flash from the lasers as it lights up the characters and their silhouettes and stuff. Just incredible stuff, man. I'm super impressed with this season so far. They're really doing everything right for me, and like I said, I'm really enjoying the pacing and the characters that we certainly have. The fact that they feel very everyday person sort of thing, and again, the idea of Oni's sister really being the main focus and the main lead works for me, and especially works for me because of the fact that she's actually a pretty solid actor. I'm really impressed with what Oni's sister certainly bringing to the table. But listen, guys, those are just simply my A+ opinions. At the end of the day, though, I definitely want to go ahead and know yours. Listen, if there's anything that I missed from this episode that you guys want to further talk about, whether that be character development, storyline details, Easter eggs, definitely go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. But other than that, we will be back later on this week, so definitely follow us on A+ More Phenomenal, dropping this Saturday at noon Central Time, and then we'll definitely see you back here for DonBrothers episode number 3. But until then, guys, do me a big favor. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.